Hello? Hello? Please, the seminar is about starting. The seminar on the fish rearing. We are waiting. Please, whatever you are doing, your dormitories, rush to the auditorium for the start of the program. Please, those above 18 years, if you know you are above 18 years, please get to the auditorium for the start of the program. Please, we are waiting. It is something that is going to help us. So please, wherever you are, get to the auditorium for the start of the program. We are waiting, please.
Hello. Elianum Nadofo. You are not for the team. You don't know that the team is going out there.
does not look on numbers. The few people who are ready, God will use you and God will bless you. I call on Brother Nyamiche. Come and pray for us. Hold his stick and let him come and pray for us.
Pamcho me mompai. Otumfuni ohin kese ewiabrin so ye dawase. You are kamfo ye show dinga nyam bebre. Fibra wodi an bai besim pempem suinia waye we nga brabom no e bradwen ntiase so. Ye kese asidan kan odin. Ewiabrin mina me ye besua de aboyem bra. Mempaibo ne menkoto sre ewiani se obeka safo okyerɛkyerɛ funemu yanga ye wa hariti so ba man adwena emuda hɔ ne akomapa ne atumi de atiasem ne atiasiye na yanso ye bra be fia bɛkɔ no ye rekɔ sɛ nwan ma wɔn adidi amen wo huruhuru ne nganya bebi pabi de akofie de akɔbɔ bra ahyɛ odin kronkron anuonyam kɔsoare sirayen kɔsoara boayen wo doba Yesu Kristo dim na mbompai adom ne nti amen.
Good afternoon once again. All right. As our daddy said, we are gathered here for the seminar on catfish farming. And by extension, we may have the opportunity to learn other things. But the main focus is on catfish farming. Without wasting much time, we'd like to introduce our main facilitator and I would say his co-facilitator. So, with for our first facilitator, I mean the main one, his name is Brother Amusun Felix. He's from Oshogbo, Ogun State, Nigeria. Oshogbo, okay. He's the CEO of Rich Taste Agric Limited. Rich Taste Agric Limited. He traveled all the way from Nigeria to be a blessing unto us. So let's put our hands together as he takes the middle seat. His co-facilitator is our own brother. Most of us, in fact, all of us know him, Brother Nicholas Addo. For some time now, he has also been championing the catfish farming in Ghana here, especially in Apostolic faith. So let's put our hands together for him. Okay, so I will hand over the mic to our facilitators. And sorry, our very own daddy, overseer. Please forgive me. He's also with them. As for daddy, all of us know him. And he's should I say a fan of, okay, he has a very serious interest in agric. He started from Nigeria when he was there, came back to Ghana, to replicate same, but God had a different plan for him. But the passion is still there. Passion for agric is still there. So let's put our hands together for our daddy too. All right, so thank you very much. We'll hand over to our facilitators.
A quick introduction about Bra Felix. You know, we started a small fish farming at Aplaku here and one at Adan area. And I was always looking for more knowledge on it, because if you know much about anything, it's then you are able to do it well. So when we went for camp meeting, I was scouting for people who have good knowledge about fish farming. And our own Brabas brought him to me. And unfortunately, when he tried to brief me a little about what he is doing, I got dazed. And I said, this one, I don't want to hear it alone. Those of our members here who are interested in serious farming, he is the right person for us. He's not just coming to give us a theory. He is in the fish farming himself. And he has multiples. He also has a poultry farm. And he slaughters 2,000 birds a day. It's only he is a simple man. Otherwise, you see him as Apostolic faith makes it simple. Otherwise, somebody who slaughters 2,000 birds a day for the hotels all over. So when I discussed with him, he agreed and has taken his own transport right from Nigeria to come and help us. Personally, I am going to make the notes. The little discussion we had with him in the office shows it's a promising business. Let us take this seriously. And I will insist that every branch church will have a fish farm. If you refuse, we will take you from Apostolic faith. Because we are always burdened with the issue of finance. If we take this seriously, I think we will be on a firm ground to be able to move forward. So once more, Brother Felix, these are the few interested ones, but I assure you they are the keen ones, and your work will not be in vain. Next year, when you come to Ghana, you see a number of fish farms to your credit. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm happy to be in your midst. I must commend your level of stability that I've been witnessing since yesterday. I'm here. May God take all the glory. As I've been introduced, my name is Amosun Felix. So I'm from Nigeria. Sorry if you can't understand me very well about my English. You know, Ghana English and Nigerian English. At times, you have to listen carefully. Today, since our time has been fast spent, we would like to go deeply into the business of today, which is a seminar about fish farming. So when we say fish, I think everybody eats fish. Do you have anyone here that doesn't eat fish? He's not present. So, since it's something that is marketable, everybody eats it. I think if we farm it, it's not something bad. As I've said earlier, fish is what everyone loves. And we have different type of fish. But the fish that is easily to rear, to cultured, out of it is a catfish. It's easy to culture. There are some fish that you find them in salty water. We can't culture that. Even if you are to culture it, you need some state-of-the-art architecture. But these catfish, God has made it possible for anyone that is interested to culture it And the beautiful part of it is that it's profitable. And since it's profitable, and we believe that everybody needs money. Is it true? Even the church needs money if you don't need it. And when we are rich, we are going to help the church. Is it true of us? Yes. So we are children of God. We are millionaires. So we want people to see that God is doing great things in our life. And we believe that if you have any opportunity, we must share it among ourselves as children of God so that it can go round. Electronics. I want them to quickly go through the first point of our discussion, which is what are those things we have to consider when starting fish farming? First thing is our environment. So if you are to consider you want to go into fish farming and you are in a very landlocked environment, that place is not the best site for you. If you are in a landlocked area, you can't grow fish on the ground. What you do next is that you make a pond. So looking at your environment, but maybe you are in a swampy environment, you can dig pond. So what we want to say here is that your environment determines the type or the method of fish pond you use. The popular 3 ponds we have are the earthen pond, tarpaulin, and the concrete. These 3 are the popular fish ponds people use in our area. When I say our area, West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and the rest, we are together in this fish farming. When you look at your environment, the first thing to come to your mind is that what should I do to bring the best profit for me? If you are in a swampy environment and you are doing concrete pond, if not of other reasons, you are doing it at loss. But you have a swampy area at the back of your fence, at the back of your house, you can fence it and make a empty pond. That one will save you some stress. The other 2 methods come with some little stress, although it can be managed. The tarpaulin and the concrete pond, in which are when we are going deep into this discussion, to this seminar, you will learn more. The second point. Next. Okay. We have talked about the type of pond, the type of fish. Can anybody here, I want this to be interactive. Can anybody tell me any type of fish they know? Since we all eat fish, who can tell me? I want somebody. Yes, sir. Oh, God bless you. Our daddy loves tilapia. You know, tilapia has scales, it's scaly fish. So it's always delicious, although it comes with lots of bones. Who can tell me another one? I want a female. Yes. Catfish. Yes, catfish. Our catfish will be the center of our discussion today. As I've said earlier, that catfish is easy to culture, to nurture. Next. Yes. We want to talk about size of our fish. After you have made up your mind that you want to have your concrete pond or your tarpaulin or your earthy pond, what comes next is that, okay, and you have known your type of fish, what size of fish am to stock? We have, at stocking stage, we have about 3 types of fish. Now we are centering on the catfish now. If you want to stock catfish, you have to choose out of 3 sizes. We have the fingerlings, we have the post-fingerlings, and we have the juvenile. Now, each of them comes at different prices. The higher the sizes, the higher the prices. The fingerlings is the smallest. It's come at a very low price. The next is the post fingerlings at a medium price. Sir? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the time. Okay. Up to 7? Okay. So I have to slow the pace. So, yes, the 3 type. I mentioned fingerlings, post fingerlings, and I also mentioned the juveniles. The fingerlings, they are very small, from 1 centimeter to 2 centimeter thereabouts. Whereby the post fingerlings, they are from 4 centimeter to 5 centimeter. 6 centimeter to 9 centimeter, we have the juvenile. The reason being that juvenile, at that stage, they are easy to pick 2 mm of feed. Later, when we get to the feed section, we will let you to know why are we calling one 2 mm, one 3 mm, 4 mm. But fingerlings, they need some special feed. Very tiny, tiny feed. You know they are very small. Their digestive system are not well formed at this stage. They can't eat anything that is big in form. So we give them feed that are relatively powder in nature. So those are the things we give them. For you that want to start fish farming, it will be going through a lot of stress. You getting fingerlings. Because I can assure you, if you buy 5,000 fingerlings and you don't know the rudiments of fish farming, you might end up having just 1,000 at the end of the day because they will eat themselves. Yes, I assure you that. They will eat themselves. Post fingerlings, I said is a medium of juvenile. It's not yet big, but all of these 3 types, they can be reared. But you need in-depth knowledge. But for you to take less risk, for this our discussion, let's just go to juvenile. When you get juvenile, they are, at that stage, they are uniform. The uniformity is there. And having something that is uniform, they cannot eat up themselves. I must be sincere with you. Catfish, they are carnivorous animals. They eat themselves. So anything that eat themselves, if you don't feed them and they go through hunger, do you know they are eating just your money? When you think you have 5,000 fish in the pond, and on the harvest day you got to have 900, will you be happy? You won't be happy. So that's why any business we want to do, we have to go through the rudiments of it so that we get something good out of it. Next slide, please. The pros and cons. That means for this fish farming, we have something we have to do, and those things we don't do. Out of those things is that if you want to go into fish farming, we don't do management. We don't manage resources. If you know that, sorry about my English, the management I mean here is the local manage that, okay, like, like in Nigeria, we have one slang, we say, today I'm doing 001. That means in morning I won't eat, afternoon I will eat my dinner, at least. But you don't do that for fish. You can't even do 101. You have to feed them at the early stage. You feed them morning, afternoon, and evening. They must have their 3 square meal. So that's why I say you don't manage. If you don't have the money, make sure you seek advice. For every money you have, you also have the quantity you can rear. Don't say Mr. A is rearing 5,000 fishes, I also will get 5,000. No, look at your income. If it's 1,000, you can do successfully. With the blessing of God, you are going to get your profit. Because everything still falls back to the blessing of God. After you have tried your own efforts, we also rely on God's blessing for all our business. But
I'm sorry I have to interrupt. When I was introduced to it, they told me they can eat one bag in a month. One bag of the feed, 15 kg in a month. That was the estimate I used. But I realized that as they are growing, they were eating. It got to a point when they were eating one bag a day. So if you underestimate and say, oh, I want 10,000, you will get a 10,000, but you may not end up feeding them. That is what is drawing our attention. It's better to get 500, feed them well to the best size, where you can get a very good profit. So I'm talking from my experience. Now I'm suffering.
we will not suffer in Jesus' name. God will take care of it. Because our God is God of abundance. He will open the windows of heaven and shower blessing on us. Information is very important. If you don't have the knowledge of the business you are embarking on, apart from fish business, all business, we tend to suffer. In music, we always go through rudiments of music before going to the sight reading stage. That's how it is. For every business, you have to go through the rudiment stage. Learn it. Don't have ego that no, I can't go through learning. Find someone that is good at it. Learn it. Learn the business aspect of it, the theory aspect of it, before embarking on it. Because at the beginning of every business, you can have distorted information. People tend to give you, especially those people that sell fingerlings. Some people produce in millions. And they want to sell out the seed. They can easily cajole you that you can do it, buy 10,000. And you calculate the money to buy 10,000. You say, okay, I have the money. And go to it, buy it. I can assure you, if you don't have the financial muscle, you run at loss. Because if I give you the breakdown of the cost of rearing 10,000 fish, you'll be amazed. Even if you have the money to buy 10,000 seed, buy 1,000. I believe in thinking big, having a big dream, and start small. When we start small, all our mistakes, we learn it not really hard way. But when you start from the big, you might start in a big way, you might get tired, discouraged on the way. And that blessing that God had for you in that business, you won't be able to exploit it. But when we start small, even when we do mistake, that mistake can be easily corrected on the second circle. So may God help us so that we can be patient enough to learn. And part of the learning stage is this seminar that God through our Father here has make me available in Ghana today to teach our brothers and sisters how to go about fish farming. The next slide is risk. For every business, there is risk. Even since we have been born, we have been taking risk. I believe. If you are taking a cup of water, you just have faith that this water won't hurt me, but it's a risk. So when you go into fish farming, know that you are exploring a risk. But if you have enough knowledge, it's a calculated risk. If you can follow all the advice. And those advice is what I've been telling you since morning. The size of your fish, it must be taken into consideration. don't take any fish. When you want to buy any seed, don't take seed that has mixture size. Some people will sell fish to you that inside one container you will get fingerlings, you will get juvenile, you will get post fingerlings. Mixing sizes is the beginning of failure of fish farming. And there's something I ought to tell you at the beginning. For everyone that wants to go into fish farming, passion is that foundation. If you don't have passion for it, please don't go into it. Our passion for fish farming is something we cannot overemphasize. So, if you don't have passion for it, how will you wake up after your morning devotion to visit your fish? There are some people that do fish farming, at times 2 days, they won't visit the farm. Knows that this thing they are eating themselves. It's because you don't have passion for it. But when you have passion for it, you will want them to grow. You will want, on a daily basis, you will want to know the updates on their growth. Even when you are not around, you call people, please, I have my fish. Please, have you given them their breakfast? Have you given them their lunch? You'll be monitoring it. But when you don't have passion for it, it's just that you have the money. Your money cannot do everything. So let us put that at the point of at the back of our mind, that passion plays a vital role in achieving success in the fish farming. Now we're going to the next slide. Source of water. Source of water is a major point that we have to consider. Many people have lost their fish through contaminated source of water. If you know that there is a company around you that does chemical and they can wash away some waste, please, if you have that knowledge, don't sight your fish around that area, because at the tick of an eye, it can wipe away all your investments. Many people have lost their investment through that. Even after going to court, even if they say to you, it cannot solve the situation. So knowing your source of water, I do advise my people to use maybe borehole. If you have borehole, if you are doing concrete, use borehole to get water for your fish. If you are using earthen pond, you can also use borehole. Or if you have a stream that you are sure that the source won't be contaminated with harmful substances, you can also make use of that. I think my brother here will want to say something about that. Okay, if you don't have anything to say about it, I think water is a major life. Like we breathe in oxygen. You have something to say? Okay. Okay. Stream.
You mentioned borehole, stream, and if you are using earthen pond, fine. But I don't know, most of our boreholes, the salinity, or let me say whether alkaline, what you call pH level and all that, is it that when you dig the borehole, that is any water that comes out is okay for the fishes or not?
Thank you so much for that question. Where I come from, Nigeria, I think we are blessed with good water. Any water that comes out from our bowl, unless in some parts of Lekki, that is in Lagos, they don't have really good water over there. But in Osun State, where I come from, we have good water. And those people that they don't have a balanced pH level of their water, we do advise them that after pumping the water, they should not pump directly into that pond. They can now make a reservoir. They should pump it in there, because if you don't have good source of boiled water and the pH level is not balanced. I know you will be close to know what's pH level. We go into that. We have some instruments that we use to measure the pH level of any water. But when you pour that water into maybe a tank, an open tank, or into a reservoir, like when you build a concrete pond, you can make a pond available just to store water. You won't be pumping directly onto your fish. When that water is being opened into the air, automatically, after some time, the pH level will correct itself. That is the work of nature. It will correct itself, and the water that you are pumping immediately, the dissolved oxygen in there is very low. But when you open it into the air, everything, God has made that arrangement, it will go back to normal. And that time, you can now pump it back into your pond. You can just open the outlets. If the water enters to the inlet, it stores into the tank. And when you want to use it for your fish, when you are draining it, you just open the outlet, you will flush the dirty water away, and that clean water will enter. So, did I answer your question? Okay. In continuation of our seminar, we are going into the type of feed now. Or before we leave this segment, do you have anybody that has a question on what I've been saying? Because there is no essence of us being here and we don't understand it. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hello. You were talking about the population. You mentioned 500, you mentioned 1,000, you mentioned 10,000. What should be my pond size if I want to rear 500 fingerlings? What should be my pond size?
Yes, if you want. Hello. Yes, if you want to reel about 500 pieces, it depends on the breed, as my boss said. But if you have the good breed that grows big, at least 10 by 10 should be okay for that 500 pieces. 10 feet by 10 feet square. 10 feet by 10 feet square. It should be able to hold them till grown-ups. Yes, 500. But then, again, if you can get, instead of 10 by 10, if you can get 5 by 5 too, and then you divide them, because when they start growing, you may have to do what we call salting. Now, you can't stock, and then they will be in there till 6 months, till 10 months. So what you do is, if you can break it into two, 5 feet by 5 feet, then you divide the fish into 250, 250. Now when they start growing, you can do salting, and then you put the big ones on one pond, then the small or the medium ones in the other pond. I believe that that's clear.
Let me add up. So what he's basically saying is that if you want to rear catfish, if you intend to do like 500, have 2 ponds. At any point in time, you have 2 ponds. 2 ponds. Because as they grow, some will grow faster than the others. And if you don't separate the bigger ones from the smaller ones, when you put feed inside, the small ones will still be small. They won't get some of the feed to eat. So it's always advisable, if you intend to even rear 1,000, have in mind that there should be extra pond for salting, where you separate the bigger ones from the smaller ones. Make allowance for that. Because some people, the 10 by 10 feet square that he mentioned, can stock 500. Okay, when I get that one, I'm okay. No, have extra one, so that as they grow, so with the extra one, you can have, if the 10 by 10 will take 500, we can, from the beginning, buy 1,000. As they grow, you do the sorting. The smaller ones will be here. The bigger ones will go to the other side. I hope. Okay.
What I've seen here on our compound, so that we have 3, 1, 2, 3, it's divided into 3. I don't know the number of pieces we have in each one, and I don't know whether he started with 1 pond and later they move some of them into the second one and then to the third one. I don't know how.
Okay.
Can you also have a situation where
with the one we have here, the intention was we were going to stock 1,000 in each pond. Unfortunately, when we bought the juveniles, we had a little challenge. So instead of the 3,000 that we were supposed to get, we got about 2,400. We already have the 3 pond, so we shared it. Now, when they started growing from 3 months going, we did salting. And so the 3 ponds you see there, when you go, the first one has the small ones. The next one is the medium ones. And then the last ones are the big ones.
In summary, for a layman, when we are talking about feet, you might not understand. A room size is mostly 10 feet by 10 feet. Am I right? In Ghana. And also, when we are talking about the length and breadth, we must talk about the height, the depth of the pond. I always advise my people, where the water will cover, it should be minimum of 4 feet, because it will allow your fish to be able to swim up and down. You know, when there is much sunlight, the water can even eat up. But when it's very deep, they can even go down and enjoy themselves over there, because most fish farm is not covered. Am I right? Most people doesn't cover their ponds. So in order to also buttress his points, when we want to stock our pond, the size we want to sell will determines also the number of fish we are also stocking. Because somebody that wants to do smoke, do you do smoked fish here? We have some smoked fish that is mostly they rear just 2.5 months and they sell it. If you want to do that one, you can even stock that place that want to take 500, you can do 1,000 in there, because the period, the elongation of the period is short. But when you want to do table size, we have table size of 2 kg. Some people are doing 1 kg. Some people are doing 3 kg. It depends on the market. Your market in Ghana will determine what you will get for the market. In Nigeria, we have 3 markets. There are some hotels that love big fish. They don't sell their fish as a whole. They cut it. Especially the instant part, they love cutting their fish. Whereby in the southwest, they do barbecue. So those fish, they put it in a foil paper. They usually do one. They put one in 4 paper. So they serve each person 1 fish. If it's that market you are selling to, you have to make your fish to be around 700 grams to 1 kg. If it's smoked fish, you need fish of 500 grams below. But if you are selling your fish to those people that want to cut it, maybe to smoke or to sell it as pepper soup, those ones you need fish of 3 kg, 2.5 kg. So what you want to sell at the end of the day at harvest will determine the quantity you are going to stock. If you know you are going to 3 kg, you cannot be stocking 1,000 because it will come at a point that that place will be too small for your fish. So your market in your area will determine what you will do. Are you satisfied, sir? Okay. Maybe some of your questions, we are going to explain it in the course of the seminar.
Please, my concern is with the sorting.
Sir?
It's the sorting. I heard you say you sort them out.
Yes.
How do you sort
Why are we sorting it? Yes. If we don't sort it, our profit is not secure. Like now, let us use our pond there as an example. We have 3 ponds. 2,000 plus was stocked. When we went there today, we got 3 sizes. The smaller size, the medium size, and the bigger size. Imagine if they are not sorted. The bigger fish will not allow the smaller fish to eat. It will become a competition. And those bigger fish, they will continue growing at the expense of the smaller fish. And what will happen, one day you just go there, you won't see those small fish again. The bigger fish has eaten them up. But when you group them according to their sizes, they will eat together. When you have grouped the smaller ones into one separate pond, no matter how the quantity of feed you give to them, it will go round because they have equal energy to sort for feed. The medium also, they will flock together, and the bigger also, according to their category. So everybody will find, but not situation maybe the bigger ones will be eating the smaller ones. It will not be business-wise. That's why we have to sort.
So how do you sort?
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Write them down.
I think our ushers at this stage, we have to give out some off-cuts so that if you have your questions, we make sure we have enough time to answer it. So, we still have a lot of topic in this session that we have not even touched. So out of curiosity, we might be going into that aspect, and we will not be to go deeply. So bear with me. Let us be writing it down. So later they will gather it here and we start attending to it. The next slide. Okay, I think we have not even go to the type of feed. We mentioned that we have foreign feed and local feed. The foreign feed, we have coupons, we have alahakwa. Do you have alahakwa in Ghana? Okay. Can you give me the type of foreign feed?
The popular ones here are Kujis, and then the local one is Ranal. Those are the popular ones in Ghana.
Yeah, thank you. In Nigeria, we have about 10 different brands of foreign feeds. And before I go further, I must tell you, business opportunities in fish farming is enormous. You can be in this seminar and you determine that, no, I won't go into the rearing of fish. I want to start selling feed. It's a great opportunity. Because I see that fish farming has not been fully exploited in Ghana. Many people are selling feed and they are making money. You can import feed if your government allow it. You can set up fish feed plants whereby you can make feed. You can hire a consultant to put you through if you don't know the technical know-how. Opportunity are enormous in fish farming. Even apart from fish rearing that we are going to discuss today, the marketing aspect of it. We have to wait for 6 months to sell our fish. If you are selling fish, you are making your money on the go. You are making your money every day. You can buy fish at the farm and sell to restaurants, sell to eateries, sell to schools. There are some body schools that also buy it. In our own area, I don't know about your area here. But I believe everything we do over there can be replicated here. So there are a lot of opportunities. Coming to foreign feed, you say you have goodies here. Uh-huh. Those feed, they have some foreign ingredients that might not be available here. That is why we always advise our people that when you stock fish, make sure you start with foreign feed. To your 2 I don't advise you to produce it yourself. Buy foreign feed. That one, it has been tested, it has been trusted. When you use it, one, the size are very tiny, the 2 because that's the first size you have to use. If you buy juvenile, please quote me, if you buy juvenile, the first size you are going to use is 2 But if you buy fingerlings because it's cheap, you are buying more expensive feed because your fingerlings cannot pick 2 Your post fingerlings cannot pick 2 Post fingerlings, maybe you might manage to give them 1.5 And the cost of buying those feed, I think it's better you leave those shares for the breeders. In fish farming, we group ourselves into 2. We have the breeders, we have the commercial table size farmer. In this discussion, we are going to emphasize on the commercial rearing of a fish. But if you want to do breeding, you have to devote time to learn because there are some chemistry that you have to learn. Even me, I'm not breeding. And the reason being that I'm very busy. If you are a retiree, you know that you have enough time because to me time is a luxury. You can be at home for 12 hours to monitor the fish. Yes, you can go into breeding. But if you know that you have 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. work, it's not for you. Yes. So on our next slide, I think we have the local feed. The local feed, you can do, anyone can do it if you have the knowledge. And I believe we can seek for knowledge if we don't have it. Doing local feed, you need formulation. The formula, our department, they will show the formulation. The formulation might work here, it might not work here. Your formulation determines what you are going to compound together. What determines it is the availability of the ingredients. There are some ingredients that is even available here that if you tell me, we have a way of infusing it into the formula. You understand? There are some companies here that they have some waste products that we can use to make fish feed. We use what is available in our place and it has been reducing our cost of feeding by 30%. You can imagine if you can reduce the cost of your feed by 30%, that means your profit is growing by another 30%. Because if you keep on buying the foreign feed, your fish will grow well, they will grow big, but the profit will be small, it will be minimal. And I believe the essence of doing fish farming is to get money. Apart from having the passion for it, the money is what is at the back of our mind for doing it. So we must try to look at the part of the feed we use. And I must be sincere with you. Cost of feeding take about 70% of your cost. Yes, if you spend 1,000 Ghana cedi for a certain batch, know that 700 cedis is going for feeding alone. So that is why you must get your feeding right. If you don't get it right, that is the beginning of the failure. I pray that the Lord will guide us. Next slide. Age and size determine the feed we use. At the beginning of a fish farming, when you stock your fish, the size of the fish will determine the kind of feed you will buy. You know, when we are answering one question, we mentioned 2 mm. We have about 5 different sizes: 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm, 6 and 8 mm. 8 mm is the biggest size, and you can only feed it to fish of 6 months. Yes. At times, we don't look at the size of the mouth of the fish to feed them. Let me tell you the reason why. All these sizes, they come with their content, with their protein content. 8 mm has the lowest protein content. At this stage, your fish need to grow their muscle, to grow their flesh, to be thick. So they need more energy at this stage. So maybe accidentally you just pick 8 mm and you are going beside the pond, you throw it to 3 months fish. I mean the fish of 3 months, you throw 8 mm to them and they eat it. And you say, I thank God though my fish are pick 8 mm. 8 mm is cheap in the market. Let me start giving to them. What we discover that the growth rate will reduce. They will not have started growth. Because at that stage, they need more protein. But you are giving them energy. It is after they have expanded, the fish have grown to a size that they have more of fat, more of soft flesh. It is when they reach that 5, going to 6 months, you introduce that feed that has much energy. And what are the ingredients that give energy? Do you have cassava here? We use cassava flour. It's an alternative for maize. Because the poultry industry, they have a lot of demand for maize. So maize is always, the price of maize is going up every day. So which fish farmers, we leave the maize for the poultry farmers because of the competition. Because our fish can take cassava flour. So we went to cassava flour. Although it's not that you will now take cassava flour, you start pouring it in your pond. No, it will pollute your water. There are sophisticated machines that will do the feed for us. That machines, we call them extruders. They have, they generate heat during production. That heat, we cook the food. I believe nobody here can eat raw food. We have to cook it. So these animals also will cook their own food. But when you pass through that machine, the machine will eat it up. And it will pass through some holes with pressure, and it will give us some round shape. And this round shape, if you use extruders, it will, when you put it on water, it will float. Okay. People want to know the meaning of mm. When we say mm, we mean millimeters. That's how we measure the size of our fish feed. And anytime we talk about centimeters, we are talking about the size of the fish, how long they are at the time of stocking. So going back to our discussion, I mentioned 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm, 6 mm, and 8 mm. Those are the popular size of a fish feed, both imported and local. When we mean local feed, these are the ones we produce in Ghana here. The foreign one, the one that is being imported, maybe from Brazil or from the US, fish feed is being imported. But we pray that soon God will help Africa, we won't import it again. Work is being ongoing on that one, how we can start producing those imported fish feed inside the four walls of our countries, because we can see that dollar is falling all currency. It's because there is pressure on the dollar. When you talk of importing, you have to buy their own currency. Buying their currency will affect our own economy. But when we do it here, the thing will be cheaper. When our cost of production is cheaper, our profit is secure. May God help us. Next slide. Now we want to go into the major business of today. Those are the good practice in fish farming. Good practice in fish farming. Those are the things that we ought to know before going in depth into fish farming. I believe when we start this segment, most of those questions that you have in mind, will be answering it. We talk about less stocking density here. When we want to stock, I think I've mentioned it earlier, we have to stock less. Don't think, I think here a juvenile is being sold at 2 cedis. Don't think, okay, I can afford 10,000 and you now buy plenty seed. If you can afford to rear them, to feed them the first month, you might not be able to feed them the second month, because as they grow, their consumption increases. So we have to be conscious of the quantity we stock. And when you stock less, it allows them to have enough space to grow, enough space to swim. And when you stock less, your water will not be polluting easily. The less the pollution level will be very low. When your pond is being more polluted, you are inviting diseases. You are inviting germs into that business. When you have less pollution, that means no medicine will be used throughout your circle. That fishing circle, whenever you use medication, it will increase the amount spent, your cost of production. And that is when there is an outbreak of disease, you will lose more fishes. You will have to use your money to buy drugs. It's better you stock less and you have a very free disease era in your fish farm. We talk about bitter leaf. We use bitter leaf on the farm as prevention. Has anybody used it here? No, bitter leaf. Bitter leaf. The Yorubas call it ewuro. Yes. It's a prevention. Okay. Yeah. And it stop. So those are the organic medicine that is always available on the farm. It's a free gift of God for us. So when you squeeze it, you can pour it on them. And at times, the prevention also we use is if you have industrial salts, you can use it. Industrial salt, you can get it in the feed mints. In the feed mint. It's not the refined salt that we use in our kitchen. That one can also be used in the absence of industrial salt, but it's somehow costly. It's somehow costly. So when you buy the industrial salt, I think if I'm converting it, it's less than a CD for a kilo. A kilo of that salt is less than 1 CD. So a bag will be around, it's 25 kg bag. A bag is around 20, let's say 20 CD. So when you have it in your farm and you discover that your fish maybe they having bruises around them on their body and blood is coming out, you can just put it. Or maybe they are having rotten fins. You can administer the salt on them. You lower the water before administering, and you don't do it during the day. When there is sunlight, it's not good for you to administer salt on your fish. You wait till early in the morning. You lower the water maybe to around 2 feet. You know, I told us earlier that our water must be at 4 feet. So when you lower it to 2 feet, it will allow the salt to go around. You understand? So that's when you can use salt or your bitter leaf. Those are the two major medicine we actually use. And for the last 3 years in my own farm, I've not used any medicine. It depends on your management. If your management is good, you don't have fish always have less mortality. I have a batch of fish now. We stock about 5,000. We just recorded 3 mortalities. Yes, and they are above 6 months now. I always weigh my fish to 10, at times 10 kg. Yes, 10 kg, 7 kgs. Yes, per one. It depends on your market. You know, I told you earlier. In my own place, there are people that always ask for those kind of fish. Also, we have some other farmers that does 2 kg, 1 kg. It depends on the market you are selling to. And also, it depends, maybe you are using it as a side hustle. What I mean side hustle is that you have a work you are doing and you just use it, maybe you love it as another source of income. But if you are a businessman, fish farming is that only thing you are doing. I won't advise you for that 10 months. I won't advise you for even 8 months. 6 months is okay, because when you do 6 months, you can now have maybe 2 turnover of your money in a year. You can use a single money to do business twice in a year. And also, 4 months is also good, because at 4th month, the tissue, the bones of the fish, they are at least 50% developed. You understand? Even if you sell at 4 months, you are still going to have your profits. So, if you are a fish farmer that is not adding anything to it, that's your major occupation, I will advise you to have minimum of 6 ponds. You can now divide your money. In 2 months, you'll be selling fish. If you have 6 ponds, that means throughout the year, 2 months, you'll be having income. Because if you are doing a business and income is not regular, you might get easily discouraged. Okay, sir. Okay. So I told us that if you have less population, there will be less medicine. Maybe you give it someone to take it around. Okay, as they are showing you the feed, we like to see a video of a machine that produces feed. I mean the extruder. You can see that feed. The feed will be poured inside water now for you to see how it floats. Do you know that any substances that drop on the water goes below the water? But this time we find it at the top of the water. That is work of technology. Because if the feed goes below, how will you know that your fish are eating? So, but now this machine is basically made for you to see your fish. That's the machine. We call it a extruder. Fish feed extruder. The feed that is coming out are hot, very hot. That means during that process, it has been cooked. Because all those ingredients used for fish feed making, some of them has been contaminated. Some of them has aflatoxins, like soya. Soya always have aflatoxins. So all those toxins, when they pass through it, they become cooked, and it will make that risk less for your fish. And apart from that, when the fish feed are well cooked, it will bring out the nutrients. It will make the nutrients to be well available for your fish. Imagine when you see a soya seed, when you press it, oil might not come out, but when you toast it on your pot, when you put it in your pot and put on fire, you will see that oil will come out. When you press it at that time, the oil will come out. So the cooking is already embedded in that machine. It will make the nutrients come out. Although if you buy your feed, you might not need this information. But this information are for people that are interested in making their own fish feed. You can even have this machine and not go into fish farming. You can even have it, advertise it, let people come and do their own feed. Having this machine, you can use this machine to be feeding your family. Yes. So that's an opportunity. That's another area you can get money in fish farming. You know, I said earlier, not all of us will rear fish, but you can sell fish feed. You can even be a breeder, getting seed for people that want to stock. And we want to talk about often changing of water. Our quality of water is something we cannot underrate in fish farming. If you are into concrete pond, we mentioned 3 types of pond the other time. Who can remind us? No, I don't want to. Can somebody remind us? We want this thing to be interactive. Yes, sir.
We mentioned the earthen pond. We also mentioned the concrete pond. And we also mentioned the tarpaulin pond.
God bless you, sir. These 3 ponds, all of them needs their water change. But the frequency are what we are going to discuss now. If you are using earthen pond, it's even possible for you not to change your water in 2 months. I have a pond. That pond, the pond behaves as a well. The water always goes out from the ground. So the water is changing itself automatically. So throughout a circle, I don't change my water. The pond has an inlet. It has an outlet. The outlet is where we drain our water. I can just feel like, okay, just for righteousness' sake, let me just drain it maybe once in 6 months. You understand? But even without changing it, I'm free to go. But if you are in a place whereby water is not gushing out from the ground, that means it's not behaving like well, you have to have an inlet that will bring water into that pond. And there is a way you can set your outlet. The water will be going out gradually. We call it flow-through method. Water will be coming in, it will be going out. But the going out will be at a very reducing rate. The coming in also will be at a reducing rate. So the water will be changing, yes, by itself, and every time you'll be having clean water. But there is a place whereby the land is dry. That place you have to make sure that you are changing your water every week for empty pond. Every week. Empty pond, yes. If the water is not coming from the ground, because stagnant water will be smelling. And the quality of your water will determine the growth of your fish. You know they are eating. As you are dropping feed into the pond is being polluted because of the remnants of the feed that they are not, like local feed now, they always have a lot of powders compared to the foreign feed. The foreign feed, they are well molded because the machine is more sophisticated. You understand? So we have less waste. But when you use local feed, you have to change often and often. I must be sincere with you. If your water is bad, don't expect your fish will grow well. And it will be like a loss when you are feeding them and they are not growing. We expect a fish to eat 1.2 kg to give us 1 kg. Should I come again? For every 1,200 grams of fish feed, we are expecting 1 kg. That's 1,000 grams. Inside 1 kilogram, we have 1,000 grams. So, budget 1,200. If the feed is good, though, budget 1,200 grams for 1,000 grams. If it's feed that is not really, that the protein content is not really good, that is not good, you can use 2,000 grams to get 1,000. But the advantage of using good feed is that it will shorten the duration of rearing them. Imagine that 1,200, if you feed morning, day, night, in 4 months, they will finish that 1,000. Each fish will finish 1,200 grams. In 4 months, you've gotten your profit, you started another one. Don't mind us, we that do 10 kg, 7 kg. That's the way we do it. We don't use feed all through. There are some other tactics. There are some other things we use, in which I'm going to give out all the secrets in the course of this seminar. Use less expensive method of farming. What we want to say here is that, tarpaulin farming, yes. Okay, what? Okay. I said you need 1.2 kg of fish feed to get 1,000 kg of fish, the flesh. Okay. Now let me put it into grams. You said earlier that 1 kg is 1,000 grams. You need 1,200 grams for you to get 1,000 grams. When we are talking in grams and you are mixing it up with kg, you won't get it. In kg, that is kilogram. When you go to the market, you want to buy fish, they put it on a scale. That scale, if it's a digital scale, it will show 1.00. That 1.00, that's 1 kg. But coming to kg, you need 1.2. That 2 is the waste. You understand? You can't put in 1.2 and get 1.2. It has to decrease. Even when you are using the best feed, it is only coupons that gave us 1 kg at that. I think it was about 10 years ago. But now the feed has been auto-treated. I don't know. We don't get that, and they are not even importing it again. That time we got 1 kg for 1 kg, but then things were cheap. But what that has been tested and trusted is 1.2 to 1 kg. So the math there is that you will now go and buy feed. Put 1.2 into calculation with your other costs. Is this business profitable? You yourself will answer that question. Yes. 1,000 grams. Yes. Yes. We are talking about a single fish now. So now you want to raise 1,000 fish. That means you need 1 ton. Yes. You need 1 ton. Okay, you need 1 ton of fish. You will need to buy 1,200 kg. That's 1.2 tons of fish feed. And this 1,200 kgs of fish feed, you will now buy different sizes, ranging from 2 mm to 8 mm. At the early stage, they don't eat much of fish, of feed. So now, I always budget 4 bags for the first month. You understand? I budget 4 bags. After them, even if they don't eat it finish at that first month, we still continue the second month. You might be curious that you have about 67 bags make 1 ton. Okay, maybe you buy 80 bags in your store, and you see that this fish, 2 months has gone, they have not yet finished 10 bags. Don't be scared. A time is coming, you will pray to God that, God, why are these eating like this? Because a time is coming that you will go with 1 bag, and they will be curious as if you should bring more. So you have to be patient with them. So getting it right, we are on about a less expensive method of farming. You know, we mentioned, our brother they mentioned about the 3 types. The most expensive of them is the tarpaulin. Because that one you have, you know, is at the confinement of your home. You have to be changing the water often and often. And there is a cost to that water. You have to buy electricity to be pumping water every time. And it's even more stressful. That's why, and the tarpaulin are not durable. It's more expensive. Although that one, anywhere in the world, you can do your fish farming with tarpaulin. But it's expensive. And if you don't control your cost of production, you might not get anything out of it. The next less expensive is the concrete, which is I think is most popular here. If you use the concrete, if with God's wisdom, you can get better things out of it. If you can manage your water well, change 3 days. 3 days, yes. How often do you change your own here? A week.
5 days.
5 days.
Or 7 days. 7 days or 5 days.
Okay.
Is it a recycling?
I saw it. But how effective is the recycling method? There are some recycling method that the technology is top notch. That when it recycles water, it gives out even water that can be drink. It gives out drinkable water. If you have that kind of a system here, the filtration system, that means your problem has been half solved. Although it's expensive, but if we can have it, put up that state-of-the-art equipment, you can use a single water body for a circle, because it will give you the best quality water. Even you can drink out of that water. So that one, you can now stock to the brim. You can have enough fish because the water will be changing every minute. But that one also comes at a stock. In your environment, you have to look at what can give you profits. Because when you put in more expenses at the day of a harvest, you might be surprised you are getting only what you put in there. But if there's a way we can minimize our expenses and get the great things out of it. So we are going to remind us on the quality of water. Fish is made up of water. Without water, there is no life for fish. So our attention must be put towards water, having clean water every time, irrespective of the type of pond we use. Quality of water. As a fish farmer, you must not take the quality of your water with levity hand. You must not. So okay, someone is telling me something. Is it possible to use the waste water as a manure? Yes, it's possible. It depends on how you program your farm. We call something integrated farming. So I want you to remind me later about that integrated farming. We're also going to treat it. Feeding every day. You have to be feeding your fish every day. You know, we told us earlier during the introduction stage that there's nothing like management. We don't manage things in fish farming. That is why you must do your feasibility study. Explain feasibility study.
Yes, we must, the feasibility studies, as in, we have to ask more questions to know exactly what we are or you are going to do before you go into it.
If you don't ask, it's like you are preparing to fail. But you have to be inquisitive, ask questions, and choose those people you will ask that question from, people that are already successful in that business. Because at times too much of that advice is no advice. So your feasibility studies, okay, sir.
Supper. Are you going to use the same feed for the 3 meals? Breakfast, lunch, supper.
Okay.
Or you vary them? Then my main question is, I want to go into fish farming. I have my pond. The water is ready. How much will it cost me to raise 500 pieces from juvenile stage to maturity stage?
The only answer I can give you, I'm not familiar with Ghana cedis, but I'm trying to learn that. I'm going to give you the number of bags, and our brother here will give you the figures. For 1,000 fish, I think you need 80 bags. 80 times 15 is what, sir? Yes. 4. Yes. No. They will not eat it immediately. Even the last month will be when they will consume much of it. But why we are saying this is for him to budget himself. If he knows the actual figure, with his income, he can say, okay, I can go with 500. For 500, he needs just 40 bags. You understand? For 1,000, he needs 80 bags. So we want to know the costs. Do the calculations. I don't know how much you sell your fish feed in here.
Hello. Can I come in?
80 bags. Each fish feed contains 15 kg. Am I right? So that's 1,200, if I'm right. 15 times 80. So if you use that 80 bags, you must be expecting 1 ton. 1 ton is 1,000 kg. That 20,000 Ghana cedis. Yes, for on feed alone. And before I forgot, on feed alone, the cost of the seed has not been put into consideration here. The cost of the seeds, the juvenile that you are going to buy, has not been put into consideration here. The cost of pumping the water, we assume that you have your pond, you have your water source, you need only the feed, and your fish is already available. So, getting a good breed might cost you around 3 cedis. Yeah, might cost you around 3 cedis. So, 3 times 500. 500 will cost you around 1,500 cedis to buy the seed alone. The best seed money can buy. $1,500 for the seed, 10,000 for the feed. I think the water, you have water in your house, you can later you can get a figure for that one. Yes, tap water has a lot of chlorine contents. It is only when you have somewhere to gather it and leave it for a time whereby it can vaporize. You understand? And what I always tell my people is that they should cut leaves, maybe banana leaves, and put it inside that water. If it's tap water, it will fertilize the water and make it a good water for your fish. Because there was a time someone lost about 1,000 fish due to high concentration of chlorine, and it's pumping directly to his pond. So a lot of fish was lost. You lose a lot of fish on that day. So I won't advise you. We have to learn from other people's mistake. We learn from other people's mistake. We should not make ourselves a scapegoat.
Hello. Let me chip in. When I was a little boy, my father had a 10 by 10 feet pond, and he was rearing this catfish. But he fed them on molded bread. He liaised with the women who sell bread around. Should your bread stay and it's not bought and it becomes molded a little, they brought it to him, and we broke it and gave it to them. 2, he fed them on, there's a type of leaf. It grows like a cabbage shooting plant. It looks foamy. But it's normally found on the banks of streams and rivers. On the banks of streams and rivers. If you break it, it's like a foam. The way it is like a cabbage that is shooting. That is how it grows.
Can you help me get the name of...
I don't know the name. I was too young to know the name. But this is what he sends us to the side. We go to bring them. We go with a stake and a hook of nail on it. So we draw it from the river like this. We gather it, and when we put it on the surface of the water for them, it stays for about 2 weeks. By the end of 2 weeks, they finish eating it. Then we go again. So that time, I'm sure that technology of feeding them this way hasn't come. So we fed them on this and then bread. If your bread gathers mold and no one is buying, he gathers it and we break it for them.
Thank you, sir. For the sake of our discussion here, we are treating this topic as a commercial farming. You know, those things might not be gotten in a commercial quantity.
Yeah.
We are talking of a way you want to budget, okay, I have 20,000 CDs, I want to invest it into fish farming. This is what, those methods are conventional method. But this method is strictly for people that want to turn over their money. You have your money and you want to do legal business. You understand? You know, fish farming is agriculture. And God loves everything agriculture. It's the work that our Father has given us. So, I don't know about internet business, but I know much about agric. So, those methods, I can say, is an ancient method. Because we are in the city now. How will you get that leave? Maybe that's when your father, I believe he's late now. Do you still have your father now? Do you still have your father now? That place, maybe they have built mansion on that land. So, you know, we are crossing into urbanization of our environment now. Those things might not be available. Even this bread, at that time, you can easily get stale bread. But now, we have a lot of population. It's difficult getting even bread waste. Because even if you want to ask for it, there are thousands of people that have asked them. So get it in a quantity that will feed your fish is difficult. Although, you know, I told you that I also have some unconventional method that I use. Out of it is these chicken intestines. We go to abattoir. Like I have an abattoir. I take my chicken. Maybe I'll show you the videos. We give our fish chicken intestines. It's a waste to the abattoir, but is a major raw material to fish farmers. People also come to buy. Apart from the one I use, they also sell to them. Chicken liver, we also use it to feed fish, and it makes them to grow big. The present fish I have, they are 6.5 months. I have even 5 kg in them. Yes, I have 5 kgs in them. So those are the what can I call it? Those are the other things you can use apart from the main fish feed. But it depends on your area. Since I've been asking, do you have chicken house here that they do? You can buy them and it's always cheap. Chicken intestines are cheap. Chicken livers are cheap. With 3 kgs of chicken intestines, you get 1 kg of fish. And let me convert naira to cedis now. 600 naira, I think, is around 6 cedis. Imagine you using 6 cedis to produce a kg of fish. How much is a fish now? How much are they buying? Nine cedis. Okay. 1,000 naira is 11 cedis. 11.5. So 600. Okay, you are right. Close to 9. Close to. You got. Okay. Okay. So it's less than 10 cedis, right? The 600 naira. Okay. 9.03. Imagine you do a business, you invested 9 cedis and you get 30 cedis. Is it not good? That's above 60% profit. So it's always I've never regretted doing it. It brings things on the table. So we are going to talk on the integrated farming. Integrated farming is something that you are rearing fish, you have plantain, you have poultry. You can use waste like this poultry, this fish. You can use the waste to water the plantation, your plantain plants. So pouring out water, changing of water will not be in vain. You know that down at the downside of your farm, there are plantains that are enjoying the water. Like me, what I do is that I use, okay, you have a question. Please, we are still going back to question and answer. We are answering everybody. We can stop writing this. We will call you and you will tell us your question. After this illustration, I'm going straight into this, and later people can now stand up and ask their question. There's a way we can do integrated farming whereby we use waste of one section of the farm as raw material of the other ones. Do you get, am I making a point? You know, I told you that I have an abattoir. I slaughter chickens. My end product, the dunks, because when we bring in the beds, they always have dunks. So all those things, we pack it. What do we use it for? At the beginning of our stocking, before stocking of our fish, we use those dunks to fertilize our pond. Do you know when you make a new pond, it's not advisable for you to just pour fish in it. You have to fertilize it. Make it a good habitat for your fish. Because those cements that you use to make your concrete ponds, they have harmful substances in them that can affect your fish. But for the first 2 weeks, you will pour water in it, put some leaves, put some, it can even be cow dunks, put in it, the water will change greenish. And after 1 week has gone, you will discover that living organisms are coming out. You can see tadpoles, see, what do you call it? All these small, tiny animals like this. You want to see it, you know that, no, this thing can now accommodate living thing. Frogs, tadpoles, yeah. So, yes, so when you see all those things, you know that this thing is well fertilized. When you want to wash that pond, you will see spirogyres, algae, green particles in it. At that time, when you now stock your fish, you are sure that that cement won't kill your fish. Those are the major things we have to. You know, I told you that as this discussion is going on, you will start knowing what you have to do at the beginning of stocking your fish. And also during the question and answer section, you will still unleash a lot of secrets that are embedded in fish farming.
If you go to our fish pond, you realize that where we drain the water, the cassava there, very green and fresh. The plantain, if you go just look at them, the drain water has fertilized all those things. That is the effect. So you can fetch that water, and if you have a tomato farm like my brother has, or any other thing, you use it as fertilizer. And that is the natural one, which is better than the artificial ones.
Okay. Next on our slide, I think it's the marketing aspect of the catfish farming. The marketing aspect of it, I think anything we want to produce, first of all, we must find market for it. Market is an integral part of any business. It's not when your fish are well grown, that is when you'll be looking for markets around. When your fish, maybe they are 3 months, that is when you start telling Brother Nicholas, Abi? Yeah, Brother Nicholas, I want to sell my fish. Please, help me tell the buyers, I'm selling on so day. Why are we doing so? Many farmers lose money due to the fact that after they have exhausted all their fish, they are unable to sell. You budget 80 bags for 1,000 fish. You have exhausted all the fish. and you don't have money to buy more, those fish will suffer hunger and they will be eating themselves. And that money you have spent in the first place will be uncertain. So the marketing aspect of it, before, when your feed even at halfway, you start getting contacts of those people that want to buy it. So that even when they want to come, you tell them, please, we have 5 bags that I still want to use. You start communicating with marketers, people that buy. I believe there is huge market for catfish in Ghana. But nevertheless, you must make contacts. If you, the producer, and the buyers are not connected, you can suffer something we call glut. You understand? Glut is whereby there is a product and nobody to buy. So when you don't advertise your products, get the right contact, you will see that after you have spent all your money, you are unable to sell your fish. And even if you have gotten a very good weight, your weight might start coming down, and on the day of the harvest, you'll be disappointed. So let us keep that at the back of our mind, that when you buy 80 bags and you have fed them 40 bags, you start, because that remaining 40 bags, in a month, they can eat everything. So that's when you start making contact. So may God help us. I would like to ask about the marketing. Is there demand for catfish in Ghana?
Yes, there is. And as you said, it depends on your target, the type of market you want to target. We have the smoke sizes, we have the table size. Even the table size to have 1 kg to 1.5, we have 2 to 4 kg sizes. The smoke size goes for our market women. They normally comes to buy to go and smoke. And then the table size mostly our hotels, and then we have this point and kill. Yes. And then we also, as you said, I know one of our brothers who created a market a different way he's using to sell his own. Yes, what he did was he advertised it on his social media status and other places. And so when you come and you order for 4, what he does is he will catch the fish and then make sure he adds some spices and other things nicely for you. So even though when you are going to buy it, you buy it like a kg for 40 cedis. So if it is 2 kg, it's 80 cedis. But he will be selling it 150 cedis for you. So that's the method. His own method, he was not selling the whole thing was not going in a day. He was selling it in bits, but then at a higher price. Yes. So we have the smoke sizes for the market women. We have the table sizes for restaurants and hotel. But you can equally create a business out of this whole thing too for yourself.
Thank you so much. I will add to that. You know, we can create business out of fish farming, like what our brother have told us. I have some people that are not even rearing fish, but what they do is that they go and buy that fish from the farm, they remove the guts, they smoke it, and they package it for export. There is high demand for smoked catfish in Europe. Yes, in Europe, even in UAE, we have friends that are into it, and they are making big money out of it. Without even look at the export, we have millions of people in Ghana that love it. You can start doing it. And the beautiful part of smoking fish is that it can be stored for a very long time. The shelf life is long. So not that it's a perishable item. And you can now market it all around, to restaurants, to hotels, to eateries. and to your friends and families. So that's another section of business.
Stand up, everybody. Those who are not standing are sleepy. Let's stretch ourselves a little. You see, from our discussion, what I've noticed is that those who have passion for this kind of thing are enjoying it. But those who don't have the passion, they are looking at the cost. When I did some calculation and mentioned 20,000, but do you know how much you eventually get? May God give us the passion. In fact, it's a profitable business. And that is why we need to know it well, so that when you go into it, you get what is needed. Kindly sit down.
Thank you.
In fact, to add to what Overseer said, to add to what Barakwe said, when I got the idea and I wanted to start this, honestly, I didn't have one seed in my pocket to start. And at the time, I didn't have any idea about it. So I called a company that they also do it. And I said, please, I want to do this business and I want you to help me. I have a small place. I want you to come and have a look at the place, if it can be used. They said, okay, but then before they will continue talking to me, I'll have to pay 1,000 cedis. Then, before they will even come to the site to come and have a look at the place, whether or not I'll be able to do it, I'm paying 700 cedis. So when they started calculating the money, I said, I don't even have this money that these people are mentioning. But God being so good, with the determination and zeal, I was able to do it. And I know if the determination is there and you have the zeal, you'll be able to do it. Sometimes, yes, it's true. When you calculate the money, it's very huge. 20,000, 30,000. But you can start from somewhere. As my boss said, you don't have to start with 10,000. You want to go and stock 10,000. No. At least if it is 500, you can stock. Even if it is 200. One of our sisters started with 100 pieces. And when she finished and she sold it, she was able to move to 1,000. I am sure when she finishes with 1,000 and she sells it, she will go to 2,000. But you can, okay, you want to start with 2,000 and you can't even feed the 2,000. See, so even though the money is very high, but you can start from somewhere. If you have the zeal, you have the desire to go into it, you'll be able to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas. I think at this stage we are going to check the formulation of making fish feed by ourselves. Much has been said on how we can rear fish, how we can, the do's and the don'ts. But now we want to know, as you have told us that the cost of feeding takes about 70% of our costs. Now we want to know how can we minimize our costs. How are we going to get a very good formulation? How does the formulation work? I have a formulation I use myself, and we want to share it with you on the screen. Please show it to us. You can show everything at a glance. Yeah. This is the formulation. I wrote it in percentage so that even if you are doing a ton at a time, it's easier for you to do the calculation. The first on the list is fish meal. And why do we have to put fish meal at the top of the table? You know, fish feed, in our own place, we have an adage that says, what they mean by that is that fish eat fish to grow big. So we cannot do fish feed without adding fish meal to it. Fish meal contains a huge percentage of protein. There is one fish meal making in Denmark is being named 72%. Why they call it 72% is that the protein content is 72%. So in my fish feed, I had minimum of 20%. It can be higher, but because of cost, and we know that we have used foreign feed in the beginning. That is why we use just 20%. With this 20%, any fish above 3 months will do well. But I must tell you that this fish feed is not something you will start with. It is after you have used your foreign feed for like 3 months. That is when you can cross to local feed. Please, we must know that. If you start with this formula, you might not get the best out of your fish. Because at that stage, they don't need that formulation. The next on the list is GNC. What's the meaning of GNC? I'm sure some people here know it. Our brother have told us that's granite cake. Granite cake. Those companies that does a vegetable oil that use granite, so it's one of their wastes. So it's like a cake when you see it. So do you know something they call kuli kuli? That one is edible, it's food grade, but this one is for animal grade. So it's just like kuli kuli. So it's sticky, and it's allowed the fish feed to mold together. It's sticky in nature. So we use 40% of it. No, we will crush it. After I've explained all these ingredients, I will now tell you the preparation. The preparation of it. Not that we get all those things and now dump it inside the pond. No. That's not how we do it. But we have the cassava meal. The cassava meal flour is made of cassava. The companies that process cassava flour is their own waste. But the energy content is huge. It has above 3,000 calories. Because at the later age of your fish, you want them to have weight. We sell catfish in weight. If your fish is as big as this chair and weighs only 1 kg, that is what the buyer will give you in terms of money. But you can have a fish that is smaller like this, and it can weigh 1.5 or 2 kg. So giving them something that will give them weight is what we are ascertain your profit. That is why we have selected some ingredients that can give us the desirable results. Next on the list is bone meal. Oh, sorry, I've skipped soya meal. Soya meal. Soya meal, I mentioned it that some people do toast it in the pots and it will bring out that oil. But we have the industrial one. Companies that do soya oil, their waste, that is what we call soya meal. The waste, it can be in form of full fat soya or soya meal. Full fat soya are those waste that still have fat in them. Because fish, to some extent, they need fats to grow well in some little quantity. And also the soya meal, is those one, all the fat has been removed. But they have a very high, rich protein that the fish needs. So we always put it into their feed. Soya meal has 45% protein. But in this context, we add just 10% of it into our feed. We added just 10%. Don't let us forget that we have GNC. GNC also has its own protein. We are going to bone meal now. These ingredients, we can quickly group them into 4. Before I go to the bone meal, I will explain this. We have the proteinous ingredients. We have the energy-giving ingredients. We have the calcium. The calcium-giving ingredient. That one, they form the bones. They give them calcium, phosphorus. So out of them is the bone meal. So people use oyster shell. Do you know oyster? Oyster shell. Yeah. Bone meal, oyster shell, they are being grouped together. Or in the absence of them, we use DCP. DCP is like a chemical. We use it to replace bone meal. But I believe we have a lot of the slaughter slab here, whereby they kill cows. So those bones, they gather it, burn it. When they burn it, it becomes soft. The machine cannot crush it. They now blend it, they crush it. Yes, they crush it. So we get our bone meal and also molasses. Molasses is in liquid form. It's like a waste of a sugar complex. Is it available here? So molasses also has a lot of energy embedded in it. And also we have the fish premiums. Those are the little nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. The lysine is Lysine. SINE. The methionine, the lysine, they are micronutrients. They need them in smaller quantity. For a ton of feed, you need just 1 kilo. So if you are doing half ton, you need 0.5. That's just 500 grams. And that's how the calculation goes. Toxin binder. Because we love our fish, we don't want them to fall sick. We introduce one ingredient that bind all the toxins inside the feed. And it will not allow it to digest, go into the system. So it either go through the excreta. They excrete it. So putting toxin binder, BINDER, inside BIN, bind, it bind them together. The toxin binder, it will not allow your fish to fall sick or to absorb any harmful nutrient or substance. And the last on this list is salt. Salt. You know, if you cook rice and you don't put salt, I believe you won't like it. So we want the fish feed also to be tasty. That's why we always add salt to it. 1, it's useful in their body. 2, it gives the feed a taste. And when we are talking about the fish meal, there is a bracket there whereby we write feather meal. If you can afford 20% fish meal, you can use 7.5% of feather meal. And now added 12.5% of fish meal. The truth of the matter is that you can't do without fish meal. Although there are some close alternative, but there must be fish meal. Because fish meals contain some amino acid. Sorry because of my vocabulary. Those people that study science know what I'm saying. Amino acid. These amino acid is very essential for the growth of the fish. So we can't do without, and it's highly embedded in the fish meal. Coming to cassava meal, it can be replaced with wheat meal. Yes, with wheat meal and wheat over. In an instance whereby we have cassava meal 20%, wheat meal can be 15%, and wheat overs will be 5%. Wheat, WHEAT, wheat. Do we have wheat here? So that wheat, it has a lot of energy, and also we can't categorize this as a proteinous ingredient, but it also has, I'm not sure of the protein content because we don't usually use it. We substitute it with maize. It's around 12. 12. So, and any proteinous ingredient that is not close to 30, I don't usually categorize it as a proteinous. We can't compare wheat meal with soya meal. It's different. But also, it will bring something to the table. It will also add to the protein content of your feed. If you buy any foreign feed, you will see the analysis of the nutrients at the back of the sack. If they write protein 45%, don't think all the 45% protein are gotten from the fish meal. No. The wheat meal will bring some percentage. The granite cake, soya cake, sunseed, there are some ingredients that is available over there that we don't have. You understand? And when they want to use fish meal, they don't use the food grade one. They use the feed grade one to lower costs. You know, if you are an entrepreneur that is into fish smoking, you will always have some scrumps, or maybe some fish that got scattered. You cannot sell it. You can blend it. The head, the gills. No, scale is not even useful. The scale is like nail, so it doesn't have rich content. But the gills, the intestines, you can oven dry it and blend it with your fish. So those wastes can be also return it. Like the feather mill now is a waste of abattoirs, of poultry abattoirs. Instead of throwing out the feathers, we have machines that process it through a process we call hydrolysis. So we later call it hydrolyzed feather mill. So that one, we boil it at 250 degrees centigrade. That is the height of the heat. It goes with a lot of heat. And at the end result will be 80% protein. So it's very rich. That's why we always add it to our fish feed, but I don't think it's available in Ghana. You have to import it. But you have enough. We have other ingredients that can be substituted. You can do the best feed in Ghana with your available ingredients. What you just need is that know how to compose it, know the requirements of the fish, and those are the next thing we are going to talk about. The nutrients requirements of your fish. If you can ascertain the requirements, you can now make your feed. I will give you the mic now to say what you want to say. I can continue. Okay. At the early stage of your fish, your fish needs high protein. High protein, HIGH. High level of protein for them to function well. We mentioned earlier that we should use foreign feed, especially 2 mm. When you first stock, you use 2 mm. That 2 mm has minimum of 45% protein. At that stage, they need less. They need just like 10% energy. So you cannot start giving them cassava at that stage. No, they won't function well. You can even cause stunted growth. Even at that later, they want to give them good feed, they won't grow again. That is the end of that cycle. So when they are small, you give them food of high nutrients. After 3 months, okay, you want to manage feed, you can buy like 45 to 50 bags of this runner feed. Yes, with 2 mm. Runner has 2 mm, Abi. But I will not advise you to use 2 mm of runner. If you can get alaqua or the kudis, you understand, use that one for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Now cross to runner. After using runner, at 3 months, you can now compound your own feed. You understand? After 3 months, giving them that feed, I believe when you sell your fish, you will thank God. Because that one we are certain, what do you call it? We are certain your profit. Your profit will grow. At 3 months, they need a balanced diet that gives them a balanced protein and a balanced energy. And how can we do that one? That time you can now come in with those ingredients that we have been mentioning. You look those ones that is available here. You use it. Those ones that are not available, you can suggest what we have in the environment. We can now look at the content, the protein content, or the energy content. How we can now infuse it. But we must be very careful when making up this formulation, because any mistake in it can ruin all your efforts. So it's not that everybody is doing feed formulation, I can do it. It's a very difficult task. But if we got it right, that it will be is a milestone. It's a very good one if you can actually get it right. I think I've been speaking for a very long time, and we also want to hear your question and answer before going into the segment of answering the question in front of me.
Keep in mind. Let me come in with my question. Fish meal you mentioned, but there are other materials. I won't say material, but let me mention blood meal. Is it good for for the formulation? Because when I read about it, it contains about 80 to 90%. Okay, over 80% protein. So I was thinking, can it replace? You mentioned that we cannot do away with fish meal. Can it some way or somehow have the percentage of the fish meal? And there are other materials that we use here, which you did not mention, like maize. So I was thinking that if there is no maize, the feed is not complete. But looking at what you have here, there's no meal, but maize. But yes. So another one is the GNP, the granules cake. Can we substitute it? Is there a substitute to that? Because I see that it takes a greater percentage of your feed. Is there a way we can substitute that? I think these are my questions.
Thank you for that question. That means you have made a lot of research on fish feed ingredients. Coming to blood meal. Blood meal, even I have some of the results of blood meal that we take to the lab. I have it on my phone. I will show you later after this session. Blood meal why we stop using it is that it makes the head of the catfish to crack if it's too much. Yes. It can allow your fish head, the cap to crack. Have you ever seen any farm that suffers that? So there are some substances, blood. It's a vector, it carries a lot of disease. Because that animal that was slaughtered, you don't know the disease that is carrying. Despite processing it, there are still some residues. All the antibiotics that the animal has been administered is present in their blood. All the disease is present in their blood. So using it, it makes the fish vulnerable to a lot of disease. So many people that are using it before have stopped using it because of this crackhead disease. So it's not advisable using it. Those people that have been using it and have not been having issues are those people that use it below 4%. Even if you have it maybe freely, you can get it at no cost. 3% is my own recommended quantity that you can use. With 3%, the effects might not be much. The good thing about blood meal is that it has high protein content, but the disadvantage is that it's very low in amino acid. This amino acid is very low. The methionine, the lysine, the vitamins and minerals is very, very low. So that is that. Coming to maize, you mentioned that maize is not in my formulation. Go and check the nutrient level of maize. It has more energy, about 3,300 calories. But cassava is cheap. You also have about 3,500. The difference between cassava and maize is that the protein. Maize has more protein than cassava. But there's a way we can also manipulate some other ingredients to get high protein and use cassava. Doing fish feed formulation has their own tactics. If you want to follow the rules 100%, you can even produce a feed that is more expensive than Ghana. You understand? And you won't get the best out of it. So you have to know the properties. What is embedded in each material, in each ingredient. That is how you can now infuse them together. Not knowing it, you can be repeating another ingredient. Some ingredient that's even more costly, you might not even need them. But you keep using them and it will make the feed cost and it will be at loss. So, you mentioned GNC. That why is it that we have high level of GNC? Do you know that all these ingredients we have been mentioning, they are in powder form? Do you agree with me? It's only molasses that is in liquid form and that is only sticky in nature. All other ingredients, you won't feed them in powder form to your fish. And they have to come together for the fish to pick it. In this context, GNC is the only ingredient that has that properties. GNC.
What about the cassava flour?
Cassava flour is not really sticky like groundnut cake.
Okay.
Groundnut cake is sticky. So it brings the other ingredients together. So when they come through the machine, they come out solid. And when they are not solid, if any feed that cannot withstand 5 minutes, that cannot withstand the test of time, a minimum of 5 minutes inside water, I can't call it a good feed. Your feed must stay on water for a minimum of 5 minutes. Because at times, due to weather, climate change, the fish might not eat well. Imagine you dropping feed worth 200 cedi on your water, and the fish are not eating it, it will dissolve. But if you can stay a little longer, they will pick it. And that is why when you go to feed, we must observe how the fish are eating. Not that we just rush and give them and go back home. Give them a little. See how they are responding to the fish feed. And it will give you some information. The information it will give you is that if the fish rush it, they are healthy. If they are not rushing it, is either the fish are sick or the feed is not good. Sir? You know, feed that eat in the morning, if you go in the evening, they must also rush feed because they have a very good digestive system. They can eat 3 times a day. If your fish are active, they will eat 3 times a day. But after 1 month, I don't advise you feeding them 3 times a day. You drop it to 2 times. I have some fish that are 7 months. I feed them only once a day. Because at that stage, they can eat to their satisfaction. You understand? A fish can come and just gather all the feed on the pond. So you have to study them, know how they are responding to the fish feed. That will give you the information about your fish. When you are experimenting formula like this, you do small, see how they are responding to it. Because if we don't put fish meal is the attractant that will attract the fish to your feed. If you have less or you don't put fish meal, you know blood meal doesn't have any scent. Feather meal has. But if you combine feather meal and fish meal together, they will give you a very good scent, and it will attract them to eat it. Did I answer your question?
In my area too. Just one. Last.
There is somebody at the back.
Right. Okay, so in your earlier introduction, you mentioned about salt, using industrial salt.
Yes.
And then, okay, so my question is in 2 folds. One on the industrial salt and then the producing of fingerlings. All right, so I did a little study about producing fingerlings, and then the most cheaper way I saw on it was to, when you get the female catfish, the eggs, how to harvest the eggs and then get the male, and also harvest the sperm from the male and then pour it on it to fertilize it, and then some days or hours time for it to even start hatching. Now, my brother is into this business anyway, but we've experimented it severally, but it never yielded any results. So I want to know if there is other technicality involved with it which we are not seeing on the internet that we ought to have added to this formula. And then also, we know the catfish is a freshwater fish which does not dwell in salt water. So when you mention about adding the industrial salt to them for sometimes sores on their body or rotting fins, I don't get it. Is it the actual rocky salt form that we call in Ghana the Ada salt, or is there any other salt? Because this same salt, my brother, when he harvests and wants to kill them, he just pours them in the bucket and pours the salt on it, and it kills them and remove all the mucus. So I'm wondering how you apply this salt to heal the sore or the rotting fin. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. You can't learn everything on the internet. Everybody cannot just put up his trade secrets on the internet for you. That is why, our brother here, if it's not for his resilient spirit, he will not learn anything. They told him to bring money. So that person that tell him to bring money will not give him any information free of charge. Now, if you want to learn breeding, I told you I have little knowledge about it. But because it's time consuming. I did not go deeply into it. You can visit farms, organized farms that are into it. Ask them about their recruitment. It might be 6 month training. You pay them and they teach you. Anything that involves giving out money, at least they will give you value. That is when you can actually have all the knowledge. You understand? But when you are doing it, getting research on the internet, there are some other things that you'll be missing. Like your water self, you have to carry out a test on your water before starting breeding. So those are the rudiments, those are the things that they will tell you when you go to learn it. And I can assure you, if you learn it, that amount you use to learn it, you will gain it from other people that you will teach. So it's an investment, it's not a waste. And concerning the industrial salt, salt in its original form is not white. It is after salt has been refined, that is when it's put up the white color. When you see salt in its raw form, it's like ash color. Am I right? Hey. So that one that we use in fish farming. But I told you earlier that in the absence of it, I believe there are some other nutrients that has been washed away during the refining process. But if you don't get that one, use that. It will not kill them. Because one, the water is at level 2. That means at 2 feet. The water will dilute the salt. They just need just little quantity. You understand? So like now, if you are treating a pond of 10 feet by 10 feet, then with a level 2 water, you can just use like 2 kg salt. 2 kg salt will not harm them. And after you have submerged them for like 1 hour, you cannot top the water again. You understand? So it will not affect them. So you said that you use it to kill them. Yes. Even the water they are living in, if you want to cook fish, use water to cook it. It's funny. But yes, they can live in the salty water just for a little moment to kill all the diseases. Now I'm going straight forward into those questions that has been sent here. Someone said that if I can collect rainwater in the 10,000 liter size of polytank, I understand the poly tank. How often can I change the water in a 5 feet by 5 feet concrete pond? What I want to say about this is that collecting rainwater, it's not sustainable. What of during the dry season? What about the open rain? How will you get your source of water? But okay, if during the rainy season you can collect your water and you pour it in your pond, although rainwater, they easily get polluted. I don't know why. It easily get polluted. Even if you use it, what I can say is that it will easily get polluted and you have to change your water. There is no shortcut on that one. And 5 feet by 5 feet pond, your stocking density will determine how often you will change it. If the fish are 500, it will quickly pollute. But if it's 250, it will take longer time. And the age of the fish as well. When they are young, their water will not easily pollute. It will get polluted. But when they are old, at that time they will eat more and they will excrete more. Please measure. Okay, this is just an advice. Are we basically study about catfish or other one included? Can we ties inside the pond? This is a 2 question. This person is asking us, are we studying only catfish? For this session, we are doing only catfish. Because those are the fish that has markets. I don't do tilapia. But maybe our overseer will send someone that will teach us about tilapia sometime. Maybe next next committee. But for now, we are on the catfish. And also you ask that can we ties inside the pond? Is allowed. You can ties inside your pond. You can ties it, yes. Is allowed. But just be careful when you are washing the pond. It can cause accidents. Yes, you know, ties is always slippery. And the pollution of fish also is always slippery. So you have to be extra careful. You must be with your safety boots when washing your pond. But I will even advise broken ties. Broken ties, not the regular ones. That one has some grip. Although ties in your pond will make it last long. That pond will not be accumulating water. Water will not be entering inside the concrete. So it will make it last long. But still, we have to be careful for our safety. There are some times that you will have to wash your pond. You understand? So you will have to enter inside the pond. But since you know that it's dangerous, you must be extra careful. I believe the waste water is also a manure. So for how long do one has to change and use for farming, e.g. vegetables, plantain? Our daddy has give us insight about that one. If you go to the backyard, you see those plants that has been planted around the pond, they are flourishing. They are doing fine. Because that water contains fertilizers, natural fertilizers. So whenever your pond is polluted, that's the best time you can drain the water. Because if it's not polluted, the plantains, all the vegetables, they doesn't need it. I think I'm through with all the question in here. We can now, sir, I'm coming. There are some people, our sister has been raising up, and since we have not attended to her, and also my brother will come next. Okay. And if there is not that person, we cannot come to you, sir. Sir?
Okay. You said something that 10,000 can even buy the field for the fish.
Yes.
So if I may ask, how many fish can one fish farm produce within a single year?
It's a function of your financial muscle. If you want to produce 1 million fish, if you have the money, the people that eat it are available. If they can't eat it in Ghana, process it, we export it outside Ghana. So a single farm can produce fish more than 12 circles in a year. They can program it that each month we want to be harvesting. People eat fish throughout the year. Yes. We have some farms that have 2 ponds for January sales, February sales, 2 ponds, and like that in December. But there are some peak period. When festive is coming, maybe Christmas is coming, there is huge demand for fish. That time, I'm talking if there is money, you can make like 4 ponds available for that harvest. But at this stage, I don't think we have to even stress ourselves on how many ponds. Let us get it right with 1 pond, and then we can now replicate it. Am I answering your question?
Yes, please.
Okay. The place where on the formulation, feed formulation, the place where you use the bone meal, I use the oyster shell. Is it okay?
Yes, I mentioned it. Oyster shell is
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Oyster shell, Oyster. Oyster shell is also good, but you have to employ a very good machine to get it well blended.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to blend.
Yeah, there are other particles in it. So I use the sieve to make those stones out from it. Then I
Yes.
get a powder one.
Even there was a year that oyster shell was so scarce, bone meal was scarce. We used limestone. Limestone. Snail shell. If you can get it in large quantity. Yes.
I use the quail egg shell also.
Quail egg.
Yes, the shell.
You rear them, quail.
Yeah.
Quail. Is also good as far as calcium and phosphorus
Yes.
is available in it.
Yeah.
Since it's a shell, you know poultry farmers, when they have eggs that has less shell, they will increase the level of oyster shell, level of bone. You understand? And now they will have an egg that have hard shell. That's exactly the technology behind this. For your fish to have a very strong bone. And see, if you want to achieve a very good weight, formation of the bone is something you have to consider. If the bones are not well structured, you will eat some fish and their bone will be like biscuits. You will even be eating it with the fish. It's not really good enough. I don't want my customer to even eat my fish. To eat my bones. Because it will be very hard. And how can you actualize it? By giving them the required quantity of bone meal or oyster shell.
Okay.
They need it.
Okay. And the place of blood meal, I use the palm nut oil, the red oil.
To replace
to
what?
replace the blood meal.
They are not the same ingredients.
Okay.
You know, we mentioned that for every fish meal, we need fat and oil.
Yeah.
We need carbohydrates. We need protein. We need calcium. And the last one is vitamins and minerals. For you to choose any ingredient, you must first of all be able to categorize it to one of these categories. Palm oil falls under fat and oil.
Okay.
Whereby blood meal falls under protein. So they are two different ingredients.
Okay.
It's like you are replacing what do I call it? You want to make a stew, you are replacing onions with tomato. You know, they are two different ingredients.
Okay.
So that blood meal, you can replace it with fish meal or feather meal.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So that palm oil, it will just give your fish a very smooth body.
Okay.
You understand? So, and also, it will also help them to digest the food also.
Okay.
It's useful, but not for that purpose you are giving them off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
The feed formulation. You say the good fish should be able to stay at least 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, on the water. But I don't know. I saw a machine producing the feed. And as my brother is, I don't know whether he has the machine or he add everything and just stir it. I don't know. I want to see, aside the machine, how best can we produce the feed?
Apart from the machine,
Yes.
how best?
Can we? Is there any other way?
There is no any shortcuts. There is no any
How
shortcuts.
did you prepare your? Where is
Because I can't see anything that can, all those ingredients we have been mentioning this morning, that can bind them together and make them float apart from that machine. Although I'm open to another method. If you can give me here, I want to learn more.
Yes, as from the way he was presenting, I use this, I use that. That's why I want to know.
Without the machine, we can produce it.
Sir?
Without the machine, we can produce it.
Floating machine. We want, is it machine you are using or another method?
I'm not using machine.
And it's feed they are floating.
Yes, sir.
I would like to learn more. And how many kilograms can you produce in a day?
Well, I can produce about 5.
5 kilograms.
Yes, sir.
It's not sustainable.
No 5 kilograms. The bag I can produce.
Okay, you mean 5 bags?
I can produce the 50 kg. The 5 bag of it. That's 25. That's
75.
250 kg a day.
You can produce 250 kg.
Yes.
And how many minutes can it stay on the water?
About 3 minutes you can stay on the water.
About 3 minutes.
Yes.
It's a very good method. We have to go there. And also I'm commending him. He's doing a very good job.
Well, because I'm using the hand, it's not measured. Some are big, some are small.
What will happen is that...
So the cutting system is not uniform.
When we get there, we also see how we can improve your method. If it's giving you irregular sizes, we can make a sieve that when you pour all the feed in it, 2 mm will go to a side, 3 mm will go to a side, 4 like that. Okay, let's go to the farm and see, or your factory, how we can improve that method. It can be sustainable since you can do that quantity. Okay. God bless you and God bless your business.
God bless you.
Local meal. Can you use wheat bran? Yes. A maize bran, whatever, the wheat, maize, and maybe rice bran. Can you use it? Wheat bran, rice bran, and maize bran. Can you use it to prepare the local meal?
These 3 ingredients you have just mentioned, the wheat bran, when I was making my illustration, I mentioned wheat over. Wheat over. But I think it's wheat bran, you call it here. Wheat over, rice bran, and the maize bran. All those things, they are just waste. They don't really have good value. You know, these things, if they are too much in your feed, what will happen is that fish that ought to have grown in 4 months, you are adding another extra 1 month to it. It's better for you to use wheat meal, the real grain, than using the wheat bran. Because the bran is just the shell. You understand? So the level of the nutrient there is very low. Although they will eat it and it's cheap, but it gives them less nutrients. You understand? And coming to rice bran, the texture is not even good. Blending it is even difficult. It is just becoming out like needle. And it's not easy, it don't digest easily. So I don't advise you using rice bran. If you are into piggery, you can use rice bran to feed your pigs. We couple with other ingredients. And lastly, you mentioned maize bran. It's better you use maize instead of maize bran. When you use maize bran, maize has maize bran in it and the core ingredients. You understand? It's like slowing down the process. You understand? And when you are dealing with money, money has time value. It's better you use more money to trade like 3 times a year than use a method. When Brother Nicholas has gotten 1 kg on his farm, you are here to get half kg. And on the long run, you will still spend that money, but you are just taking your time. So it's better to use the ingredient that has huge protein content, huge calories, to make your feed to get good out of fish farming.
Please, I want to ask, if you go to this assembly, they will not help you to get somebody who knows much about this farming so that he will come and assist you and you will gradually learn something from him. I want to ask. And again, how can a visual impaired person involve him or herself in this farming? Thank you.
In the district, they have the type extension offices where you can get some of them who are in the fishery session. We tried one of them, we weren't happy. We were expecting 3,000 fingerlings, juvenilings from them. What he brought was a mixture. Apart from that, the 3,000 we were expecting, we got, well, after sorting, we had 2,096. So you have to get somebody trusted there before you can work with.
Thank you. Getting your seed is an integral part of fish farming. Getting the right seed. I think we are talking with the management how we can get good seed. Because even if you have good practices on your farm, good management, good water source, good water quality, and the seed are not right, you can't get good thing out of fish farming. So you being an visual impaired somebody, I believe the church will help you when it's time for you to stock. And I believe you are not staying alone. With the help of people in your home, you can do this farming of a thing. May God help us. Do we still have any question before we draw the curtain?
I would like to thank Brother Felix for what he has given us. In fact, if you are going into something and you don't know much about it, you may end up losing seriously. So fortunately, what he has given us, I'm sure, has whet the appetite of a number of people. We will still make sure our knowledge is updated as much as possible. We have created a WhatsApp platform for those interested in farming. I do put information on fish farming, snail farming, and other things. We will put him on it so that on regular basis, if we put any information, because we just pick some of these information from the internet, the media, and not all of them are accurate. So we'll put him there. If he detects anything which will not help us, he will quickly alert us. And if we have any questions, we will put it there and he will answer us. gradually we want to build our capacity so that eventually when we go into it on a commercial base, we'll be able to make it. In fact, I was telling the DS when he went to see ours, and I said, this is piloting. It's 2,000 and you call it piloting. But eventually, if we are able to produce our own feed, and eventually we will also produce our own fingerlings. We are aiming at that. When we are able to do those and able to bring down the cost, then we will encourage people, most of our people, to go into it. For example, in his own case, he has 100 outgrowers for his poultry. And a lot of our church members are into it and they are making it. So eventually we want to have a situation where we'll be able to get farms with our members taking part. So when we are asking for money, we won't ask and the money will come. Because I know in some churches, if you need 5,000, you don't go and say we are having sales meeting to raise the 5,000. Look at how they feeding where he's feeding the thing with the chicken intestines, and look at the sizes. The sizes are so big that you can get 5 kg, but we eventually get there. Amen. By the grace of God. So we want to thank Brother Felix for coming all the way. It was just a mere invitation. He didn't ask questions. But by God's grace, he has imparted unto us. And we want to assure him that those who have started have gained a lot. Asuma, you are so enthused with what you are seeing. We will visit your place, then Daniel will visit your place, so that whatever advice, enhanced advice he has, he will give us. And I believe we will also improve to the glory of God. Brother Felix, on behalf of the management of the church and the entire congregation, we say a big thank you. As he sits here, he's a big man. Somebody who slaughters 2,000 fowls a day. But look how simple he is. I'm sure God will bless you all the more from what you have given us. And we will continually be in touch with you for God to bless you. So thank you so much. And thank you all for coming. My prayer is that we will ask more questions and develop ourselves. There are places where we can start this and it will work successfully. God bless you for coming. Sister Olivia, come and pray for us to close.
Father God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this great opportunity you've given us to learn so that in future it will be useful for us. Father, our brother that came, Father, bless him. And bless each and every one of us that have received this lesson. As we go in our various stations, help us to put it into practice. At the end of it all, we shall give you all the glory and adoration. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.